Matthew 26:17-30. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The Master saith, My time is at hand, I will keep the Passover at the house of my disciples. And the disciples did as Jesus had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Now when the even was come, he sat down with the 12. And as they did eat, he said, Verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I? And he answered and said, He that dippeth his hand with me in this dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goeth, as it is written, but woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for the man if he had not been born. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He saith unto him, Thou hast said. And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it, and brake it, and gave it to the disciples, and said, Take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup, and gave thanks, and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine, until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. And when they had sung a hymn, they were out into the Mount of Olives. The first day of unleavened bread, or the 14th of Nisan, while Jesus said, I will keep the Passover, the cross-reference in Luke 22:16 notes, He added, I will not any more eat thereof, implying an interruption. Only Jesus and the 12 disciples were present. At this crucial time, Jesus announced, One of you shall betray me. For the first time, Jesus had clearly indicated that the betrayer would be one of his closest followers. They were exceedingly sorrowful, indicating their grief over such an announcement. In the original language, the question, Lord, is it I? Suggests that a negative answer was cautiously expected by each one. It is not I, is it? Jesus' reply, Thou hast said, means yes. That statement, He that dippeth, reveals the personal and intimate nature of the betrayal. Jesus took bread. The head of the Jewish household was accustomed to doing this during the Passover feast. Jesus gave a completely new significance to the action, This is my body. During the Passover feast, the Jewish householder took bread in his hand and said, This is the bread of affliction which our fathers ate in the land of Egypt, meaning, of course, that the one represented the other. By his words, the Lord changed the whole significance and emphasizes of the feast from looking back to the typical redemption from Egypt to faith in the redemption from sin accomplished by his death. The bread and wine were only outward symbols of our Lord's death. Nothing in the Gospels indicates that these were to be viewed as a means of grace, sacraments, or that they were physically necessary for one's salvation. The cup. 3 cups were passed around by the Jewish householder during the Passover meal. The third, which is probably the one referenced here, being known as the cup of blessing. My blood of the New Testament, taken from the Greek Septuagint version of Exodus 24:8, with allusions to Jeremiah 31:31 and Zechariah 9:11. The covenant in Exodus 24:8 was sealed with blood. The word testament can also mean a covenant shed for many for the remission of sins. Here is a clear statement that the death of Jesus was necessary to enable God to forgive sins. It in fact made it right or morally justifiable for him to do so. That day refers to the time when he comes again in glory.